Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of our story, Finn MacCool and Big Head MacTavish. Before we start seeing what's happening next in the story, I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to think about what happened yesterday. So, to add a little bit into this sentence starter, our sentence starter is going to be about the action of the story. The main action of the story so far is pause the video and have a think about what happened in chapter 1 and tell me your answer. The main action of the story so far has been all about fighting, hasn't it, and arguing. The main action has taken place near the coast, where Finn MacCool and Big Head MacTavish have been having an argument by throwing rocks backwards and forwards across the sea at each other with messages. And they've been arranging a fight, which is going to happen this Saturday. Let's read on. You read after me as we start chapter 2. Saturday came, and Finn had everything ready. Over Finn's bridge came MacTavish. He was so big that his shadow darkened the sea. MacTavish roared, "Where's Finn MacCool?" Up popped Finn's wife, Mrs. MacCool. "Pardon me, Mr. MacTavish," said Mrs. MacCool. "Finn wants to fight you today, but he's been called away on urgent business." "What's that?" bellowed MacTavish. "I've come all this way, and now Finn is not here to fight me." "Finn will be back soon," said Mrs. MacCool. "He said maybe you'd come into the house for some tea and wait there till he gets back." "Well, maybe I will," said MacTavish, who was very thirsty after all his clumping and roaring. Do you remember yesterday we talked about Finn MacCool having a plan? I wonder if this is part of his plan. Let's read on. He stomped into the house. "Mind now," said Mrs. MacCool. "No roaring, or you'll wake the baby." "What baby?" said giant MacTavish. "Our baby," said Mrs. MacCool. "Our wee Titch MacCool." And she showed him the baby. The baby was really Finn, dressed in huge baby clothes. "Gug, gug, gug," cried the baby, waving his battle axe rattle. "Titch is still tiny," explained Mrs. MacCool. He's 6 months old, and he just won't grow. But we're hoping that one day he'll be as big as his dad. Oh, gurgled MacTavish. I think he's thinking, if the baby's that big, how big is his dad? He's having a terrible time with his teeth, said Mrs. MacCool. Maybe you'd give him an old tree trunk to chew on. MacTavish gingerly held out a tree trunk, and Finn bit his thumb. Ah! Screamed MacTavish. You've upset my wee baby, cried Mrs. MacCool. The very big baby bounced out of his cot, waving his battle axe rattle. Out of the house sprinted MacTavish, with the very big baby hot on his heels. There was no time to make for the bridge. Splush! MacTavish dived into the water. Have a good look at that picture. Look at MacTavish's face. And our next question on our Reading Rainbow is going to be about what this picture tells us. So have a good look. Can you see it? The picture tells us. What does this picture tell us about MacTavish? Pause the video and have a think. Tell me your answer. I think that the picture tells us that MacTavish is terrified of this baby. The picture tells us that he's feeling so scared that he's just dived straight into the sea. He said he couldn't swim yesterday. Let's carry on with our story. MacTavish swam over to Scotland as fast as he could. He'd lied to Finn. He could swim. The very big baby threw a rock after him. The rock is still there in the sea. It's called the Isle of Man. There was a hole left in the ground where Finn picked up the rock. It soon filled with water, and now people call it Loch Ness. MacTavish never came back to fight Finn. When he reached Scotland, he scuttled off to the Highlands and hid in a cave near Inverness. Some say MacTavish is hiding there still. He's afraid that one day Finn MacCool might come looking for him. Finn, or the very big baby they call Titch MacCool. That's the end of our story. But before we finish today, let's have a think about the characters in that book. And I was wondering, did this story have a hero or a villain? What do you think? Spin MacCool, a hero or a villain? What about Big Head MacTavish? Was he a hero or a villain? Pause the video and have a think about your ideas. Use this sentence starter, the hero is or the villain is, and tell me your answers. It's a hard one, this one, isn't it? I think that Big Head MacTavish was a bit of a villain. At the start of the story, he enjoyed beating up all the other giants, if you remember. And in a way, maybe Finn MacCool was a bit of a hero because he got rid of Big Head MacTavish and stopped him beating everybody up with his cunning plan. I wonder what your ideas were. I'll see you soon.